You're very welcome to the Irish Political Roundup with me, Roisin the Cleric.
And me, Paul Brophy. And today, Roisin, we're delighted to be joined by Gael Councillor for the Piltown electorate area here in sunny Mooncoin, the home of the famous Roisin Mooncoin, Pat Dunphy. Pat, you're very welcome to the Irish Political Roundup.
Thanks very much, Paul and Roisin. It's great to have the two of you down here. We're the farthest, probably south of the county.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you looking after everyone like that around the county. You know, so
exactly, and it has been great, Roisin, to get out and about around the county and get to see these lovely little villages like Mooncoin. But behind us there, Pat, there's a very, very busy road. That's the N24.
Yep, and there's a lot of talk about the N24 to try and improve it. You know, as time goes by, you're probably having maybe 12,000, 13,000 vehicles a day pass through this particular village. Very few villages now have a road going right like this, main national road going right through it. Very few, and you know, with that comes a lot of danger.
Yes. And
with that old style road now, which was originally a number of years back, was put on the National Development Plan 2018 to 2027. And meeting time in 27 is not far away.
No, it's not.
We're only after the 6 phases to do in the national road. Okay. Phase 1 and 2 are done. That's looking at all constraints and coming up with a boundary of about 100 metres right along. And that's the way it stands at the moment. Phase 2 completed. Okay. So phase 3 would be a further development then to narrow that down to the actual road and what land they're going to have to take and plan out the road as it will be.
Yes.
With like that, people will know where they stand. Number one, and number two, that'll bring you on to have to do a plan for the Brophy and all of that. So that's phase 3, and then phase 4. After that would be continuing on with that, and there are no plans to actually do the road. So 5 and 6, then phases 5 and 6 are all of that. Phase 6 is actually doing the road.
Right.
So there's a lot. We're only at the end. Phase 2 there with about a year. They're trying to say it's still going on. If it is what they're at with it, to be honest, but phase 2 finished last summer. That's what we were told anyway. And we had a big meeting in the hall here about it.
Okay.
And people were, all their comments were taken on board, and we're waiting now for the next stage for those comments to be taken into account.
And your hope is to secure the funding to complete these works.
Funding is the main thing here, and there's a lot of funding in doing roads, but whatever it costs now, in a year or 10 years or 20 years, it's going to cost way more. So now is the time to be doing these things. I think I made a comment to somebody there that the National Children's Hospital, the cost of it now compared to when it started.
Yeah.
Now, one of the reasons there is not doing nothing. It's the timeline. It's the length of time that, with all of the different things, whatever they had to do or stalled at times as well, the cost went massive compared to what it started out with. And the same is going to happen for roads like this, and wherever they are. And
roads like this, this is linking. You're going into Tipperary and it'll bring you all the way onto Limerick. So it's a very, very busy road. And I'm sure you've had unfortunately your fair share of accidents in the last while.
Unfortunately, and too many, and that's one of the reasons. Safety. That's a big reason. Safety on these roads. This is the part of the name of the scheme is the Water for Care scheme. It's 60 kilometres long, and there passes through all of South Kilkenny and a lot of South Tip. Tipperary are very supportive. Councillors up there as well as are the other councillors around the Kilkenny southeast.
Yeah,
they're all. But what we need to do is get the funding, and funding. If there's no funding, it goes no further.
Yeah.
Now already here we're after having the Mooncoin bypass brought to a certain stage. A lot of money spent. You could say wasted because nothing happened. They brought it to a CPO stage,
okay,
and left there maybe 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
And then started off the whole thing again. So that's wastage. At the end of the day, what else could you call it? You had the Clonmel Outer Ring Road that was started and didn't finish. You had the Caricature bypass.
Right.
And there's probably some other one again I can't think of now, and they're going back. All of these have been started and finished without doing anything. and a lot of money wasted on them.
A lot of money spent on
A lot of
consultants.
taxpayers' money wasted on getting it to a stage and then have to start all over again.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Now, when we did say to them when this one started off, they said, "Oh, we're going to take into account what was said." That was 12 years ago, as far as this one was concerned here.
A lot can happen in 12 years.
But anyway, it does need to be done. The biggest factor goes through villages like Mooncoin and across Tipperary as well. There's one or two. There are not too many roads now, or villages on main roads. There are not too many at all. They're few and far between, and rightly so, because there's too much activity with pedestrians, with activities like the shop coming in now, the car parks, the church, the schools, everything. There's too much activity going on in villages like this not to have a bypass of Mooncoin, which is part of this bypass of it. And the current road has a number of junctions on it. There's a lot of junctions, which is another reason why they went to do it in the first place there. And the junctions are turning right. Like when I'm going home now, when I'm down in Rathkieran, I have to stop in the middle of the road. There's no lane, there are no two lanes. It's vehicles coming up behind, overtake on the left, inside the yellow line in a lot of cases because the roads are not wide enough, and people walking or maybe cycling at that side of the road. And it's just ridiculous that they're allowing that to happen. So right-hand turns are deadly. You're waiting on traffic coming to you, which is quite a lot. You can see you have to wait a while at times, and at the same time traffic is coming fast. There's no speed limit in the area. It's the full 100 kilometres.
Right.
And they're coming up very, very fast, and there's been several accidents down those junctions there. There's several. And we'll have them again. I'll tell you here and there, I hope there won't be fatalities. There has been in the past. And, people, using their life when there shouldn't be a need.
And Pat, you've been a councillor since 1999, and you've topped the poll on a couple of occasions, and you topped the poll there last June in the local elections, which is a testament to your work on the ground. This N24, this has probably been an issue since you entered politics, has it?
It has, and for 50 years. As some of the people on the Chleirigh Road will tell you, that's actually a very dangerous stretch as you head out of Mooncoin. There's quite a few residents living there, and that's been looked at under the Chleirigh Road scheme, but it'll also form part of the water of the care. But there's a lot of houses, a lot of elderly people. They come out there, and when they look to the right, they might have visibility of about 20 or 30 metres. Nothing else. Wow. So if you're going for planning now, you need to have 100 more, 130. On a road like that, you might want 150, really? And yet that's 20 and 30.
Wow.
Now there is an issue there that's in the court at the moment, and there's a few objections, and Court were taken to court by a couple of people, and that's going through the motions now. I think they have to have a look at it again, because I think both Planala, from what I gather, conceded some of the issues that some couple of local people were asking, and someone from far away were asking about it, and they should be sorting all that out before any scheme progresses, But anyway, they have to be sorted now for that to continue anyway.
Absolutely. And Pat, as I said, you were first elected in 1999 to the Kilkenny County Council. What was what inspired you to put your name forward and run for politics?
Yeah, well, things have changed a lot since I first got elected, or went even. I really didn't know what it was about, to be honest, at that particular time, but I went and got there, and look, there's great motivation in trying to help people. You don't win everything, but you have to try and represent everything, because, that's what I try and do. And be honest with people and tell them the stories. Then at the end of the day, there's no point. I just have no time for populism or anything like that. You do your work. You let the people know if it's good or bad about a thing. Let them know. And I think the vast majority of people, this is my experience, accept that. There'll always be one or two that mightn't. But look, at the end of the day, I like working for people locally. I like working locally at things like that. And more kind of Piltern at the two areas. And so it's, and Kilmacow as well, that I would generally get quite a lot of representations from. That's where most of 90% of them come from, to be honest.
And in 1999, a young man was elected on the Fine Gael ticket with you, John Paul Phelan, who went on to become a senator, a TD, and a Minister of State. You worked for John Paul from 2011 until 2024. How did you find that time working as a PA to a very busy in a very busy constituency office?
Yeah, well, it was busy. A lot of it was similar to what I was doing as a councillor, if you know.
Yeah.
So in some instances, you could kill two birds with one stone. You know, if you go into County Hall, you might have a list of stuff, and like it's beneficial from that point of view. John Paul really probably had made a lot of groundwork type of stuff. That's the type of stuff. I wasn't once or twice, or a couple of times up at the Dawn, but I wasn't based there. I was based in his office in Thomastown, and then when COVID came in, I was able to work from home as well. And that's kind of the way that's what he had me doing. So yeah, unfortunately now we have no Fine Gael TD in South Kilkenny.
Right.
After trying years to get one, and now we have none. And but I will say that our new TD in the constituency, Catherine Callan, is actually good. She comes here fairly often. She's very up to doing the work, because being the only person that she's from way up in Carlow there,
Yeah.
and this is a fair distance down to here, but she does it and willing to do it. So I think she's good. I'm very impressed with Catherine, the way she's operating.
Yeah, and as I said, you topped the poll there in the last local elections in 2024. As I think Paddy Manning, our colleague, called you Pat Dunphy's like a dice, and he's just hoovering up.
Well, that's where that came out of it.
He's hoovering up votes.
Paddy Manning, you're at it again.
You're hoovering up votes in different areas, and you do a lot of, say, people that vote for you. When it comes to a general election, they might necessarily vote for Fine Gael. So it just goes to show the importance of having somebody local on the ground, and people they do like having somebody from Mooncoin on Kilkenny County Council.
Well, yeah, from a local point of view, it's always a benefit, regardless what party you're from.
Yeah.
It is a benefit, because you'll know the local issues and you'll be able to raise them, and you'll be meeting people all the time locally, you know,
Yeah.
that type of thing. So that's like parties. I find now in the past 10 years that the strong party type of thing is after on the way. The loyalty to parties after dropping quite a bit. People will change like the wind now, to be quite honest about it. That's the way it seems to me. It's not like years ago where, it was 100% party, that was it. But now it's a lot. It's issues, and if you're prepared to work for people, you know, if you want to get elected, or any new people that might be out there, once you work at it, you get there. I think that's what I would say: work hard at it, and do your job.
And as well, it's listening to your constituents, listening to the voters, listening to the people is what's going to get you elected, and listening to what they're saying.
Yeah, you're out and about. I'm involved a lot in the GA as well, and you'll be out and about around the place quite a bit. You're bumping into people all the time, and they know my number. They lots of phone calls as well, and all of that. And like as I said earlier on, the 90% of my representations come from Hilton, Mooncoin, and Chleirigh, that area. You know, I get very little representations in any other area, which is probably right. There's other councillors in those areas. You know, that's the way. It just shows the local aspect of it. Though.
Yes, and all politics starts locally.
And all politics starts, but is local as well. It continues to be. Yeah.
From what I've seen, Roisin, I'm sure you might agree with me on this. Like county councillors, they are a vital link between what's happening locally and national, and you do a lot of issues, you know, they start locally and they work their way up.
Yeah, well, I find people now are well versed in social media and everything. You know, there's a lot of good social media. There's a lot that's bad out there.
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
which,
We're social media.
Oh, we are. Yeah.
There's a lot of good, which you know, you're bringing the message to the people, and you know, in a positive way. And if there's a lot of other like things out there positive again on it, but people know what's going on, and they do take an interest, as I said, from a local end of things. So, that's where the local aspect comes into local politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pat, we're outside in the car park between the N24 and the church. And so when you go to Mass and the people in the coming in, even in the car park, what are people telling you about the other issues that, what are they talking about? What are they thinking and feeling locally?
Well, that is the stuff that's like we've been talking about the road. That's one issue. Another issue is water issues. A lot of water issues around Mooncoin.
And we're gonna go down to the
housing is always an issue because there's not enough housing at the moment, and a lot of other things come and go all the time. Again, there's always issues that will come up and go, and people, whatever is on the go locally, people will be talking about.
And what are they talking about now?
Well, like housing is always something that's a problem. They're talking about what's going to happen with this road out here, and Irish water. I think there's a lot of issues there with it, but in particular in Mooncoin and Piltown to a certain extent, the leaks that we're getting. There's a huge amount of leaks going on, continuing. Now there's probably a massive amount of miles or kilometres of piping around as well, so you probably couldn't expect it all to be done now. And every parish, I think, is having the same story. I know it's happening in Thomas, another area, over Castlecombe, different areas around the county.
Okay, Venice Bridge, a house can't be built until the water treatment plant is built.
Exactly.
And we're going to go down to the and talk about water in a little while. But what even are young people coming to tell you about the issues young people are having?
Yeah, well, I suppose education is a factor. There's more of a national issue, Like you could hear the issue lately about the grants, student grants and that, and those type of things worry people. Transport is another one, and it has improved. Transport Ireland for Ireland have made a difference, but there's a long way to go, especially in rural areas.
Yeah.
And maybe young people that might be going to university need to have a significant amount of stops and buses going either to Limerick, maybe Cork, Dublin, wherever. They need that, and I suppose the other big issue for younger people and for young parents and families is school transport. And not as big an issue here in Mooncoin, for some reason or other, but in a lot of areas around South Kilkenny, school transport is an absolute major problem. You might have two people working from the family, the father, mother, whatever, working. They have to work. In most cases, they wouldn't have to wait for 8 o'clock. How do the children get to school?
Yeah.
So I don't think it should be done on mileage. I think they should, if you're going to have school transport, have it across the board for everyone. I think that's what should happen, and I think there'll be a lot of people happy. Ireland has developed now into a place where parents have to work to meet their needs, to meet their financial needs. Both the big, probably mortgages and the cost of living has gone so high, and two people have to work, and that's going to continue looking at the way things are at the moment.
Do you think it's that fracture in society and causing a fracture within families? And children do need their mothers at home when they come home from school. Is this issue of two parents needing and having to work an issue? And is that, I know when I was growing up, my mother was home, I was there for my children. A lot of women want the choice. And families want the choice whether mum is a stay-at-home mum, works part-time, or has a career or works full-time.
Yeah, they would like the choice, but I think a lot of and it would be good if they could stay at home, but financially they can't.
Yeah.
Like the mortgages, look at the cost of houses when people have mortgages.
Yeah.
Look at the cost of living when you go to the shop down there or the supermarket. It's gone way up. And that's nothing to do with the shops and that, but it's the way things are heading at the moment. And, you have to work. I think it's the case you have to. And it's not good, I suppose, overall, if a mother was at home with the family and training them when they need it and, their early years and taking them to schools and all that. But that's gone. They just can't do it. And that's why I'm saying the state should look at school and transport for everybody. Because regardless of your income, everybody has to work, and everybody are in for 8 or 9 o'clock, how do you get your children to work?
Yeah.
Or to school, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you get your children to school? Because of you have to be at work.
Absolutely.
See, I don't think, to me, it's common sense stuff. And it never, when all of the cases that have been made over the years about school transport, they don't acknowledge that, or they don't seem to see that. And I think it would be the best things the government could do at the moment is to do that.
And I'm sure, Pat, you find in your role as a county councillor and when you were working for John Paul Phelan when he was a TD around this time, August into September, getting that school bus place, that became a nightmare.
A nightmare.
Yeah.
Because we could do nothing. You bring ministers there, you talk to ministers, and nothing happens. It's I don't ask me why. That means they don't want it to happen, but they should. It's a huge issue. Going on the way society is now, as we've spoken about.
Yes.
It's a huge issue. People, they have to bring in something. They surely have to. There were years looking, but something needs to be brought in to get children to school, due to the way parents are trying to manage at the moment.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the cost of living, and Micheál Martin and Simon Harris, they've kind of ruled out a cost of living package in the budget. But is that realistic given what we see? If even we take one to the local supermarket, the prices of things like bread and milk and meat, etc., they're going through the roof. Like
Even butter.
Eggs, exactly. Yeah, eggs.
Electricity bill.
Yeah.
I think things should still be done because at the end of the day, incomes haven't really gone up an awful lot.
No.
But prices have, and prices are probably now at a higher level than they were over the past couple of years when they were given those, various help with pensions and various different and electricity and various other things again. When they were given those, things are much worse now. Actually worse. So help should be needed for people, to be quite honest. And if not, what do I see happening if nothing happens and prices stay high? But I think what always happens, the people will stop buying certain things. They will look harder and probably buy cheaper, and that's going to affect the economy. So I think it's all tied in, and they need to look at it. I think, I'm not a financial man or anything like that, but you can see it's a circle. Common sense, and a circle that could easily impact business. That if people stop buying to meet their needs, to meet their financial needs, if you haven't the money, things are gone too dear, you can't buy, and you start looking at alternatives. That's what I can see happening.
Do you think common sense has gone out of politics now in 2025?
It seems to be, like some of the things we're talking about now, like the past few minutes, are, they're very important things, and you don't see much happening to address them. And to me, then, they're not looking at it from a common sense point of view. They're probably looking at it from a financial point of view.
They say every time we talk to anybody at TGs, they say, "Oh, there's a lot of money in government. The government's a lot of money. Where's it going?"
When you go look for stuff, and then you think of what's been said about the country, but it's not the same when you go look for stuff.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of money being spent. I could tell you now, since I started off, like at that time, 26 years ago, we had just a lot of road issues. And roads are cheap enough to do, so you're able to do quite a lot and get a lot of things like that done. Irish water wasn't a problem, it was becoming, but it wasn't a problem at the time. There's a lot of different things, But now, everything costs a bomb, even that the council might do. If you want to tar at the moment a kilometre of a by road,
right,
it costs 100,000. Now, that's huge money, huge taxpayers' money coming to do.
So 10 kilometres is 100 grand.
100.
It's a million. Sorry, it's a million.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
you're usually good at maths, Paul.
Could be the heat.
Yeah. Probably the heat, but
Yeah.
but like the cost of doing everything, the money doesn't go the length that it would have gone. And then I think I've heard something lately. If Irish Water were to solve all of the problems that we have in the country at the moment, replace all the piping and get rid of all these leaks once and for all, it costs 60 billion.
Oh.
Now, that's not there. So
Yeah.
what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And because the problems we have here that might talk about later or whatever in Mooncoin with leaks and part of Cllr and those other areas, the problems we have are beginning to happen in every parish of every county. So I didn't tell you it's a huge issue. Huge issue.
Do you think should the Irish water or should water infrastructure come back to local level?
There wasn't a problem when it was at local level, but I'd say the council washed their hands of it. That's what the government decided to do at the time, when they set up Irish Water. But I'd say if we're still under the council now, we'd have huge problems, I think.
Yeah.
I think there were.
Because the
It was a
pipes,
lucky one for the council, I think, to be quite honest about it.
because we were talking to Deputy Ken O'Flynn, and he was saying that the pipes down in Cork, and so I would imagine it's all over Ireland, are 99
years old,
nearly 100 years old. So all the pipes and the infrastructure are old.
The pipes around here are probably 60, 70 years old. And they did a few water schemes, they'd be about 50, 55 around years old. Yeah. But the point, it's not the age, it's what
quality.
They're asbestos pipes.
Oh gosh.
And asbestos was softened with water over time, so they rot. Now, like the Wavin pipes and all of that they started putting down now, that won't happen. So it's the type of piping is the problem. Yeah. And now, asbestos then is it's not a dangerous thing regarding drinking water. That it's in the air. If you let it dry out and you started working, you created dust with it. Yeah. That's when it's dangerous. But in water and in the pipes, it's not. But it rots and it has to be taken out and replaced with Wavin pipes. I call them Wavin, the plastic ones.
Yeah.
And Pat, you are a rural county councillor, and what gets the rural community is our local farmers and food produce. And what's your message to local farmers and the food producers?
The farmers find it hard and tough. Again, a different era than it was in the past. Farmers have to comply with a lot of stuff now, a lot of boxes to be ticked, and that all costs money. They get a good few grants for various buildings and that, but at the same time, it's far tougher and a lot more expensive to be a farmer. Now, as you can see lately, the price of cattle, calves, all of that has gone up. Food has gone up, and all of that is down to what's involved in the expenses that farmers have to fork out in order to farm. So we probably have the toughest rules in the world in Ireland, to be quite honest.
What's that?
I just don't know. It has happened over the years, but I suppose the EU would be part of it. But Ireland still, if you're around the world, a lot of people still want to buy Irish products because of safety and all of that.
Yeah, I do.
It's a top class product.
Yes,
I'm even buying my egg. I'm an egg man and potato man, and he comes around.
Buy Irish.
Buying off local farmers, off local producers, and keep the small local businesses going.
Yeah, and to make a living now, you see a lot of farmers, which say dairy cows, they have to. A lot of family farms. To make a living, you probably want about 100 cows. So to make a living from that, and within that, then you have all the huge expenses. But to make a proper living, that's what you want, I think. I'd say going back 25 years ago, when I started off in politics, you'd probably make a living from 40 cows.
Right.
30 or 40 cows. That's So that's everything has gone so dear. It's gone even people working, every week they have their wages, but everything has gone up. Everything has gone up. And it will, I think, unfortunately, it will lead to a crash eventually. But unless there's some bit of management, some bit of help brought in, I can't see anything but it eventually crash. It can't withstand that type of costing, what people have to fork out.
And I'm just curious, you have been a councillor since 1999. And we're asking this now to county councillors, what have you learned most of all? What would be say 5 things that you've learned as a county councillor?
Right, that's a good question, But I first of all, I'll start with, I worked in Boston Law Water there for 31 years, before I went with John Paul Field. But what did I learn? Like what I did there helped me a lot. You know, if you're kind of in charge or aware, you have to keep it right, and you have people working for you. So deal with people is the first thing, I think. You know, I remember a girl said to me one day in the earlier years. She said, "Tell people as it is, but don't use the word but."
Yes.
Don't use the word but.
I like
It's
that.
always in my head still, to be quite honest about it, you know. Maybe sometimes it comes out, but I can see the point, you know. It's kind of an excuse type of word sometimes. But like being upfront with people, that's something else. Being upfront and tell people exactly what it is. Try to help them. I find that the vast majority of people are 100%.
Yeah.
Like, once you're right with them that way, they want to see you do your job and do it right and get back to them and treat people well, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And it's about also having people skills and that likability factor and listening to the people.
It is huge, yeah. As I said, I was lucky. I was in Boston long when I started off for quite a few years, and people skills in those factories there for managing a warehouse and a good few people working in it. You have to learn fairly fast. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Well, Councillor Pat Dunphy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to Paul and I on the Irish Political Roundup.
Thanks for coming down, Roisin.
Oh,
We'll see you back sometime.
Oh, you definitely will.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks very much.
So we are going to be out and about again, and thank you for you, the viewers and the listeners, for tuning in to the Irish Political Roundup.
Yeah, goodbye for now.
Bye for now.